Have you ever been scrolling and just wondered why some things blow up? It's not magic, and it is definitely not an accident. Turns out there's a very deliberate, almost scientific formula behind the content that grabs our attention and just refuses to let go. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and decode that exact blueprint.
Okay, just take a look at these. On the surface, they're pure energy, right? They're bold, they're vibrant, they're practically jumping off the screen at you. But what if I told you that the secret sauce behind their design shares a common DNA with a ballad so soul-crushing it can bring you to your knees? It all comes down to a shared, invisible blueprint for engineered emotion. So, let's break it down.
All right, first up, let's talk about the visual part of this formula, because these aren't just pretty pictures. No, they are meticulously crafted, following a super strict set of rules, and they're all designed for one thing, to make you stop scrolling and click.
And listen, these are not just friendly suggestions. These are direct orders from a style guide built for one thing: maximizing clicks. And notice the hard lines here. No white backgrounds, no frames or borders. It's all about creating this open, fluid, high-contrast design that just slices right through the noise of your feed.
So check this out. Here's that first rule in action. Look at this incredibly intense, high-contrast color palette. The purples, the blues, the fiery oranges. That's not just for looks. It's basically a visual alarm bell designed to make your thumb stop dead in its tracks. And it's not just the colors, right? This high-impact idea extends to the text, too. The text here isn't just text. It's a whole statement. That big, stylized 3D lettering literally pops off the background. It creates a sense of scale, of excitement, of urgency. It's telling you, hey, pay attention, this is a big deal. And finally, maybe the most important part, the human element. The rules say the subjects have to be dynamic and high energy. So by putting these super engaging, expressive faces right at the center of everything, the image creates an instant emotional connection. I mean, we are just hardwired as people to respond to faces, and this design leverages that perfectly. So, you got their attention. You've earned the click. Awesome. But now what? How do you capture their heart? Well, that's where the second half of the formula comes in. Okay, we're shifting gears now. We're moving from visual engineering to emotional engineering. And to really get how a feeling is meticulously built, note by note, we're going to use Bruno Mars's incredible ballad, God Was Showing Off, as our case study. Now, before we get all technical, let's just start with the core feeling. The whole song is built around a concept that you can really only describe as a musical sigh. You know that feeling, that specific physical tug you feel in your chest when you hear something that's just profoundly beautiful or sad. That's what we're talking about. And this is the device that creates that sigh. It's called a pligal minor cadence. So by shifting from a major IV chord down to a minor IV chord, the song creates what the source brilliantly calls a gravity well of longing. It is a calculated, almost mathematical way to deliver a powerful emotional gut punch. And believe me, the precision does not stop there. Every single element of this track is perfectly calibrated. The tempo? A deliberate 68 beats per minute, perfect for that slow dance sway. The key of E-flat major, that gives it that noble, almost gospel feel. And the mix is a pyramid, keeping the most important stuff dead center for a clinical focus. Every choice here is intentional. And if you think that's detailed, the engineering gets even crazier with the choir. They use a technique called the Haas effect, which pushes the backing vocals to the absolute widest point in your headphones. The result is this psychoacoustic halo that makes it feel like you're standing in a cathedral and the walls themselves are singing to you. Even the vocal performance itself is engineered to feel raw and authentic. Bruno sings just slightly behind the beat. It's a technique called Rubato Phasing. And as the source so beautifully puts it, this makes him sound like someone losing their breath while staring at a miracle. It feels completely spontaneous, but it's actually a deeply controlled and incredibly effective choice. So what's the connection here? On one side, you have a vibrant, loud, high-energy visual designed to get clicks. On the other, you have this intimate, technically perfect ballad. What's the common thread? Well, it's what we're going to call the authenticity advantage. It all boils down to this one single crucial idea. In an age where literally anything can be generated by a machine, real human storytelling, tangible, relatable humanity has become the most valuable currency there is. It's the new gold standard. And this slide just perfectly captures both sides of that coin. On the one hand, you have audiences actively pushing back against what the source calls AI slop, that generic, soulless content, and instead, they're celebrating labor-intensive original art. And on the other hand, they're praising the acoustic authenticity of a vocal so raw you can literally hear the air in the singer's lungs. Both point to the exact same desire. We crave genuine human effort.
And look, this isn't just some artsy theory. This has massive real-world impact. The TikTok challenge, where people shared these huge life-changing moments timed perfectly to that emotional chord shift in Bruno's song, it became the #2 trending sound on the entire platform. Engineered authenticity drives real engagement.
So, this brings us to the complete picture. That vibrant visual hook and that intimate emotional core, they aren't separate strategies. They're two essential parts of a single, unified blueprint for how to engage with people today.
So here it is, the whole formula, distilled. First, you grab their attention with a powerful visual hook. Second, you engineer an emotional core using these precise, calculated techniques. And finally, and this is the most important part, you ground everything, the colors, the text, the chords, the vocals, in a foundation of raw, undeniable human authenticity. The goal isn't just to be seen, the goal is to connect. And that leaves us with one last, kind of fascinating question. We've just decoded the blueprint for what makes a hit resonate in our modern world. But as more and more content gets created using this exact formula, what happens next? What does a world where everything is perfectly engineered to feel authentic actually look and sound like?